Wild card.
um,
Alright guys, hello. Sorry it took me a while to start speaking. Just trying to figure everything out, hello. Sorry, whoever's in here right now, if you could just type in the chat. I can't even see how many viewers there are. Just trying to figure out my skinny monitor, but tell me if the audio is good, the visuals are good. Let me know if there's anything I can fix. Just trying to figure out my skinny monitor, but tell me if the audio is good. Yeah, just let me know how everything looks so far, because this is my first stream, and then tell me if the audio is good. The audio is good. Everything looks so far, as well as my first stream, and then it's echoing. Tell me if the audio is good. The audio is good. Everything looks so far, as well. All right, that should fix the echoing right there. Tell me if it doesn't. But yeah, can you hear me good? Do you want me to higher my volume input from my microphone? Can you guys see the screen good? Let me know if there's any specific ticker any of you guys want me to go over. Market's a little bit stale as of now. As you guys can see, AQB is just maintaining a lot of the volume. I think my top watch as of now, just based on all of the runners, is CWD, and I would want this to break over 307, potentially even 3.1, depending on the tape, before even trading it. So everything else just very, very stale, right? PTNM looks very shaky. Hasn't been able to get over 2.1. Much supply there, so I don't think this will be going anywhere today. WAI is just not something I would trade. It's just not setting up in the right way. And also its pre-market into market open was just very weak, in my opinion. Again, AQB has come down, so volume is looking to rotate somewhere as of now. I think the only place it can go is CWD. And again, I would want it to get over 307 before trading CWD. Sogp also has a lot of momentum and is probably going to go for that high daybreak. It's just not my type of setup. That's strictly just a momentum trade. It's already overextended, and it's just, a volume momentum scalp trade, right? Those are not my type of trades. It's not my type of style. So CWD it's accumulating here under 3. It's setting up for a push, not to high day, but to mid 3s. If it, continues accumulating, trading in this range here, gets over 3.07, the tape is strong, then I'll most likely take a trade here. What's my take on EMPG? There's just no momentum on it today, so I think that one's pretty simple, right? I just would not touch anything with no momentum, no volume. It's really just not going to go anywhere. For a swing, it's also just very extended. I would never swing that either. I think Sogp is about to take high day here. Volume is very slow everywhere else. AQB just lost its momentum. CWD is having trouble breaking over VWAP. WAI also just took a dump. I think Sogp is practically the only ticker even close to just making a move, and I think it's going to steal all the volume here. Let's see what happens. So again, like I told you guys, it's not my style though, so I won't be trading it no matter what. It's just my thesis is this goes high day, and everything else just sits and watches for now. And there's that high day on Sogp. That's what we were talking about. Let's see if it can go for more. The tape looks rather weak like last time I was looking at it. Let's see if CWD can get over VWAP here. I think it's attempting that push now. Come on. again, guys, with all the volume just dying off, something is like bound to just rip, right? Steal all the volume. Market's very choppy, but if one ticker can just nail the volume, nail the momentum, it will have amazing sorts of runs for the next 30, 40 minutes. There's CWD now breaking over 3. Like I told you, 307 is my key level, so that's what I'll be waiting on. I'm not prematurely buying into anything. And I think if CWD loses its momentum here, it comes down to 280, 270, I think SOGP will take high day very easily. And it might just be the ticker that, you know, just keeps on going and going and going for all throughout today. Because based on what we see right now, really, there's just not much competition. Not much momentum anywhere else besides SOGP. There we go, CWD rejected. And that's why we don't prematurely enter, right? Even though I am interested in CWD, it is my favorite setup. Again, 307 is key, right? That'll tell me when, you know, sellers have flipped, buyers are in control now, but that was definitely not the case here. Now we'll take a look at SOGP. I think this maybe PTNM to one of those two is going to go for high day soon. Let's look at PTNM. It's gaining volume here. Check out the tape. SOGP attempting that high day push. CWD, that's unfortunate. As of now, it's just not working out the way we wanted to. I would have expected that 307 break a long time ago if it were to have come, but unfortunately, it's just breaking down. It's just completely failing. Choppy day, very choppy day. But now SOGP is cruising by. It's gonna get that high day here any minute now. Here we go. Like I said, guys, as soon as CWD setup fails, SOGP is gonna be the one to take high day. It really is just dominating, right? There's nothing else that comes close in terms of volume, in terms of momentum. So, you know, there's two things that can happen here. SOGP just takes high day like everyone should expect it to. The volume is looking to rotate somewhere. This is the only ticker with the momentum, well, you know, enough momentum, enough volume for it to just rip through high day and just keep on going. See 7 plus, and there we go, high day. And now, obviously, just not my style, right? Not my type of trade. I'm not a momentum trader. I'm an accumulation trader. I trade dips. I don't trade momentum. I don't trade volume. So that's why I just would rather not trade SOGP. But it was fairly obvious what was going to happen throughout this entire time, right? The volume died on CWD. There was no momentum coming in, no volume coming in. The only possible thing I could say is, hey, SOGP is going to take the volume next if CWD or any other ticker just does not make a solid move. And that's exactly what happened. Volume rotation is what I would call that. It's actually pretty interesting. Raya. I've been underlooking this setup probably the entire morning, but something interesting here for sure. SOGP just still maintaining all the volume. I think that was very, very obvious. I think it's going to see 7 plus again. Nothing is competing with it. Nothing's even close. Right, where I'm looking at the likes of AQB, PTNM, just all fake pops and drops. I think CWD was the only thing that actually had the potential of competing with SOGP, but ultimately it failed. When it didn't even make it hard for us. I'm glad CWD just ultimately rejected at 3 and didn't even go any further, because like I told you, 307 was that major area that I wanted it to get over, and if it even came close to that or broke over it and just uh you know just faked out from there and came down, it would have been an unfortunate event. I would have had to think, I potentially could have made a wrong trade, but it made it very simple for us. It rejected at 3, came down. Now it's trading under 2.7, and I told you guys as soon as it loses that 2.9, 2.8 area, SOGP was going to go from 5.8 all the way to 7, which is exactly what's happening. Because nothing else is even coming close, right? There's no other ticker that's holding volume substantially or has enough momentum to even compete with SOGP. So SOGP is stealing all of the volume and is maintaining all of the volume as of now. The only ticker I could see that we could potentially trade is later on, obviously, is RAYA, Araya. But even that just looks rather weak. SOGP just looks like it can keep going and going, as I said like 45 minutes ago. Let me know if you guys have any tickers you want me to go over real quickly for you, because we're kind of in a dead slope as of now. There's not much happening besides SOGP just taking all the volume. If anyone has any questions, I got you. So now we have PTNM on a push here. As you guys can see, it's starting to gain some volume. It's not a bad setup. Again, I told you guys I don't really like trading momentum or just going purely based off, oh, the stock is ripping right now, I'm going to try to catch a breakout here. I like trading the accumulation, and in this case, we are, just consolidating for a little bit, but there is no accumulation here, right? There's no trading in a range. There's no liquidity sweep. This is just consolidating and then going for a higher push. So, my thesis on this, these are not my type of setup. So this is not my type of trade. My type of trade would have been earlier, like I told you guys, we were watching CWD, would have been that CWD 307, 308 break. I would have taken that because there was great accumulation happening under 3. There would have been great accumulation happening under 3, and there would have been good liquidity being grabbed. It would have made enough space for a higher run. PTNM, on the other hand, this is just pure consolidation, and then now it's attempting a breakout where there's not even much volume to back it up. So, SOGP is on a dip here, which means volume can rotate somewhere else for now. But I do think if nothing picks up very, very quickly, SOGP is just going to take high day once again and just keep on going from there, because it just seems like a very slow day. We also have OPAD. I hear people in my chat talking about it. OPAD, okay. So yeah, it is a very slow day compared to other days. This week overall has not been too active. It's not been too hot, so it is what it is. But there we go. SOGP pushing through 660s. Will it take high day once again? I think it will. And that's going to put PTNM straight to bed. There's not even going to be a discussion there about PTNM. So again, guys, the market literally just works. I think this is what most people don't recognize, is they try to look into the tape, the times and sales, the tape, level 2, just the chart, supply and demand, support and resistance, EMAs. Sorry, I'm losing the train of thought. I'm just watching the correlation between SOGP and PTNM. But my point was that most people often overlook how much volume plays an impact in what's about to run, what's going to run, what's currently running. Volume rotation is extremely, extremely important. I don't see many people talking about it, and that's because most people who, are teaching just often aren't even good traders themselves, so they don't even think about it, and they just think about what, the majority of people online are thinking about, what's the best thing to help them sell, what's the best thing to help them get views. But volume rotation is extremely, extremely real, and I've described it many times before in my channel. So if you're watching this right now, if you're going to watch this later on, and you want to see what I'm talking about, go look up volume rotation in my channel, or just go look up one of my videos talking about my day trading strategy. You guys will see real life examples of me trading volume rotation, and yeah, it's extremely real. There's no specific strategy or specific way you can trade it, but it helps you with your conviction on trades. And just pause for a moment here. SOGP is making high a day again. This is volume rotation. This is, not the best example, but it is a very minor example. As you guys can see on PTNM, 10:18, right? So Eastern time, 10:18, we saw this pop. Now, if we go to SOGP, as you can tell by 10:17, 10:18, it was losing momentum. So this is when SOGP starts losing momentum. Now another ticker will take that volume, that's volume rotating into another ticker, and that ticker was PTNM. So as soon as SOGP started losing momentum and volume, PTNM started gaining that volume, and then it started going, right? So that's volume rotation. This isn't the best example. There's way, way better examples of real-time great trades being played out, but this is, just the quickest example I can get to you guys in real time. And yeah, so I use volume rotation a lot. And so if something is just absolutely running and skyrocketing, and I see another ticker setting up, and the one that's just running nonstop doesn't look like it's going to slow down soon, I'm not going to trade the ticker that's setting up on whatever setup it has. I'm going to avoid trading it because I know that there's a ticker with all the volume, with all the momentum, and for the ticker that's setting up to go, that main ticker has to lose its volume and momentum. And that's what volume rotation is. Volume rotates from one stock to another. And the example I just showed you guys was the SOGP and PTNM correlation. But yeah, so I made a couple videos on that before. If you guys are interested in that, you should go take a look. I think it's an extremely important aspect of trading that 99% of people don't even know about or just completely overlook. But yeah, if you watch back for the last 20 minutes of this live stream, 25 minutes, you'll see that I've been saying since 5.5, 5.6, 5.7 that SOGP was going to go to 7. It was going to keep going for high day because nothing else is competing with it. There's nothing else competing with the volume that SOGP has. So I thought it was fairly obvious that SOGP would just keep on going, and that was purely based off of volume rotation. PTNM, though, I think this is going to be a solid watch for us. Just slowly building volume, slowly building a base here above 215. Let's see. Yeah, so again, now Raya just looking completely destroyed, weak. I don't see it going anywhere. PTNM as well. Again, like I said, nothing has compared to SOGP. Anything potentially setting up, I would say, is AQB. This is just a very obvious watch. AQB and PTNM. Maybe even WAI as well. Except I would, that'd be really, really difficult to come back from. But hey, we're trading penny stocks. Can't count anything out. Let's see, WAI breaking through 0.209 now. Let's see what happens here. I think it's very possible we actually see this explode here, WAI. So again, bringing back the concept of volume rotation, as you guys can see, the second WAI starts running, it's been, building up this volume here. Look at SOGP, it's coming down, right? So SOGP is losing traction, WAI is gaining traction, volume is rotating from SOGP into WAI. Let's see what happens though, right? Because SOGP is still a strong setup, so I don't want to count that out, but just looking at WAI, It's building up its volume. It's building up its momentum. So will we see like an actual real volume rotation full move into WAI? This is where the momentum is. This is where the volume is. PTNM actually as well is starting to break over 225. So things might actually be turning around for us because all morning it's just been extremely choppy. But now we actually are starting to see real potential in the side tickers, and it doesn't look like SOGP is the only ticker with all the volume, with all the momentum. So yeah, just I'm taking it easy here. I'm not in a rush to make any trades. It's been shit action all morning. We've called it since the start of the live stream that SOGP was going to keep on running and take all the volume. I think it was fairly obvious that there was just no other solid action. So we'll just stay patient here, just watch everything go down and then go from there. If you guys have any questions about any tickers, let me know in the chat. Or just any questions about anything in general, I got you. So guys, I think the main question now is how strong can WAI hold while SOGP comes down, and if SOGP is willing to give up its momentum, its volume. I think that's the biggest question, right? If we see just a big knife from SOGP here, which I highly doubt, I would say volume's going to go into WAI, and that I think that would be the trade of the day. I just need to keep watching to see what our likelihood. I'm trying to describe it in words as best as possible what's going on through my head. But I think we want to see the likelihood, the probability that volume rotates into WAI, and we're going to use all the factors that are given to us to try to help figure that out. OPAD. Wow, I actually was not watching this at all. That was a mistake on my end. This rip through high a day is currently trading at 4.7 almost. So, wow. Wow. And again, if you look at volume rotation, just look at this. SOGP started coming down at 1026. OPAD started going up at 1027. So that's volume rotation. SOGP lost its momentum. OPAD took that volume, took that momentum from SOGP and started to see a move. And so did WAI. And that's why I'm saying I think the day is starting to open up a little bit. I think I see a lot more potential and good insight into today now versus I did when, we first started trading about an hour ago. It was just a lot more dead and there was just a lot less to go off of. OPAD, wow, just consistently taking that high a day. And WAI, see what happens here. I think it's very possible that we see SOGP just rip here and just smoke WAI as well as OPAD, but we'll see what happens. Still, all these setups, in my opinion, just looking at them from my perspective now, I think they're all 50-50s. I don't see anything that is very worth trading. In any case, WAI just broke new highs. If I look at a trade like WAI, I don't think it's going to go any further than what it's at right now, which is 21.8. Only because usually when we see breakouts, they don't flutter as much and they're usually much quicker than this. That's what I expect when I am looking for a breakout trade anyway. So I personally don't think WAI has much more room. I could be completely wrong, but that's just my thesis on it as of now. I don't think there's much more room for WAI. I think there's much more room for OPAD or SOGP. WAI looks like it's coming to an end soon, in my opinion. But I could be completely wrong. I think time will only tell. But CWD, this is just funny at this point. It's just crawling up at every single low it makes. It's literally just making lower lows, right? It should reject that 3. It'd be really funny if it just breaks through 3 and just tries becoming a momentum trade again. WAI, oh wow, massive lower wick there at 21. See where it can close. OPAD 4.9 is a massive level here. 4.95. Keep that in mind, guys. So as you can see, we have 2 upper wicks on the daily for OPAD in the high fours. OPAD, I think, is going to try to break through that 495 here. I doubt it'll be able to. So, okay, SOGP starting to come down here. If it doesn't lower wick, this volume is going to rotate somewhere. Where's it going to go? Let's look at all of our candidates. AQB starting to get momentum here, starting to build up a little bit. I think AQB looks like a solid candidate once it breaks past 143. It's good volume pouring in. Like I said, I think WAI topped out at 22, but depending on how it holds 20, this is also looking like a strong setup. So SOGP is just giving away its volume, right? It's giving away its momentum. We were just talking about this concept of volume rotation, but now there's two things that could happen. One, this is best case scenario. This is the scenario that I look for. One ticker could swoop up all of that volume and just boom, take the same type of run that SOGP just had. Or number two, this is the type of scenario where, I personally wouldn't place any trades, is all the tickers just equally share the volume and then they just pop, drop, one at a time, pop, drop, and nothing ends up going anywhere until we see like a fresh new runner 30 minutes down the line. And unfortunately, that is looking like it's going to be the scenario just because everything's just consolidating. Nothing looks like it's going to take the volume with strength. I don't have any conviction in anything, and usually I'm able to spot that ticker if it is to come fairly quick. So I'll just watch everything and see what happens. Action isn't too good today, so if I walk away not making any trades, I'll be completely fine with that. WAI, it's a strong push here. See, again, guys, it's almost as if all the other side tickers, besides SOGP, are all just kind of faking or like chopping people out, just pretending like they're going to run, and then they end up doing nothing and coming right back down. And that was the concept of volume rotation that we just talked about, where all of the other tickers, when the main ticker loses all of its volume, loses its momentum, all the other tickers, the side tickers is what I like to call them, just trade the volume off of each other. So it's just an extremely choppy market, and everyone who tries to trade AQB, PTNM, OPAD, WAI, every single trader gets fucked because they all get in their ticker thinking, oh, this is looking like it's about to break out. This looks like it's going to get over this level, and then it just comes right back down, right? And it just completely fakes people out. OPAD is breaking through 4.9. See what OPAD can do here. Again, I told you guys 4.9, very, very major level of supply on OPAD's daily. So, gonna have a lot of trouble getting over that. PTNM, oh wow. Broke through that 2.3 level. Again, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. But we'll see. PTNM just comes right back down. So yeah, as I said before, basic, simple, all the side tickers, as I like to call them, just trading like shit, trading with complete chop. So many people probably got faked out, lost so much money on all these side tickers. This happens every single day because they think, oh, this ticker's gonna go, looks like it's gonna break out, never ends up going. It's exactly what happened here. It happened in CWD, it happened in AQB, it happened in PTNM, and it happened in WAI. We just saw that play out in real life. It was very, very, very simple and obvious. and we see it happen every single day. It's just about noticing the patterns and just getting used to it. So today just looks like not too good of a day. There's no momentum, there's no volume, there's nothing consistent. Sogp was the only light of the day, and that's only. Oh wow, AQB is breaking through 140. That's a rather quick pump right there. Strong volume coming in as well. Right, let's pay some attention to this real quick. And if we can get a trade here, either way, if we can get a trade in, if not, I'm going to call it either way for the day. $1.4. So again, I told you guys the side tickers were all just gonna come down. We're all just gonna fake people out. But the reason why AQB, I'm not saying I'm gonna trade it or it's an amazing looking ticker. I'm just saying the reason why it actually grabbed my attention rather than CWD, WAI, PTNM. These were all obvious, just little pump and dumps, right? Just little pop drop setups. AQB just had a shit ton of volume come in. It's been accumulating, trading in a range. So if we're able to break over 145 here, especially while SOGP is on this downtrend, and if SOGP can continuously make newer lows here, if we can see that dump on SOGP as well as OPAD, I think AQB has a very, very good shot of getting over high day, which is 1.56. As comparative to all the other tickers when they were trying to make moves, it was fairly obvious that those tickers weren't going to do anything. But yeah, let's see if AQB can get over 143 and also SOGP and OPAD set up and play in the way that we want them to where volume can rotate into AQB and we can see that move that we've been looking forward to seeing all morning. Let's see 143 breakout here. Tape is looking strong. All right, AQB's pushing through 145 now. And OPAD is to, all right, there we go. OPAD took the volume. AQB's done here. I wouldn't even look at it anymore. Again, guys, it's volume rotation. That's all that matters to me personally when I'm looking at especially in this vulnerable moment, this time of the day, with everything that's happening. We had OPAD slowing down. I told you guys the only way I think AQB can pull off that move, can pull off that run, is if OPAD and SOGP were both to slow down. Those are the main tickers with volume, but apparently not. OPAD stole the volume, took the volume. AQB is now going to come down. And that's how volume rotation works. There you go. You see AQB dumping as we speak, just because OPAD took that volume. Simple as that. OPAD, SOGP. I'm going to call it here, but just for anyone who comes back to watch this live trading session later, I want you to keep in mind today, if you review all the footage, you review all the trades, you see all of the tickers that were running, it was very, very obvious that today is a day for just simple runners, just one ticker movement at a time. We had SOGP ramp up from this 4.5 to 6.9 move. It began to slow down, and at the time that it slowed down, that 10:26 time is exactly when it started to come down. 10:27, as you can see, volume rotated into OPAD, has not let go of it, and so volume just completely rotated from SOGP to OPAD. That's why we saw this move here, and yeah, it was just single ticker movement. There was no volume rotation in between tickers. There was no accumulation trades to be made. It was just purely momentum trades between two different tickers that each had their moments today. And yeah, when we recognize this type of pattern, which I think today was harder to recognize just because we had so much fluff and cluster in the background, which is why a lot of people in my private chat as well just were not doing so well. It's because just of all the cluster in the background. But if you notice this type of movement, that the volume is trapped, contained in one ticker and it keeps going, trade the momentum on that ticker, trade the breakouts on that ticker, because you have a way higher chance of making money in that way than just looking for a fresh runner or a fresh ticker that hasn't ran yet. But that's about it. That's my words of wisdom. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on for some live trading on YouTube as well. See you guys.